You are not broken. You are grieving, and there is a difference. The world tells you to move on, to get over it, to find closure, to be strong, to stop crying. The world means well, but the world does not understand. Grief does not move on. Grief moves through, and you cannot rush it. You can only carry it and learn, slowly, how to make the weight feel lighter. Subscribe if you want to understand the machinery behind your own mind. There is a famous model of grief called the 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. But grief does not work that way. You might feel acceptance one morning and anger by lunch. You might cycle through every stage in a single hour. None of it means you are failing. It means you are human. Psychologists describe grief as the process of adapting to a loss. Your brain has built a map of the world that included someone who is no longer there. That map is now wrong, and your brain is trying to redraw it. Every time you reach for your phone to call them and remember you cannot, your brain experiences a prediction error. Every time you expect to see them walk through the door and they do not, the pain crashes back. That is not weakness. That is neuroscience. If this resonates, hit subscribe, because you need a reminder that grief has no timeline and you are not behind. The pressure to move on comes from people who love you and do not know how to help. They say things like, they would want you to be happy, or you need to be strong. These words come from love, but they land like stones because they imply that your grief is a problem to be solved. It is not. Grief is not a problem. It is a process. Here's what happens when you stop trying to move on and start learning to carry. You stop judging yourself. You stop asking, why am I still crying? And start accepting that crying is how your body processes pain. You stop comparing your grief to others. You let yourself grieve the way you grieve. You stop hiding. You stop pretending to be okay when you are not. You let yourself be sad. You let yourself be angry. You let yourself be tired. Because grief is not something to be ashamed of. Grief is love with nowhere to go. You learn that grief and joy can coexist. You can cry in the morning and laugh in the afternoon. You can miss someone with your whole heart and still enjoy a meal. They are not opposites. They are neighbors. You learn that healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without the knife. Healing is when the memory brings a small smile before it brings a tear. Healing is not a destination, it is a direction. So how do you carry grief without being consumed by it? First, you name it. You stop calling it weakness, you call it what it is, grief. You give it space. You remind yourself that it is there because love was there. Grief is the price of love. Second, you give yourself permission. Permission to feel, permission to cry, permission to cancel plans, to stay in bed, to not know what you need. You give yourself the grace you would give a friend who was grieving. Third, you find your people. You find the ones who do not try to fix you, the ones who can sit in silence, the ones who say, I am here, instead of, it will be okay. You let them carry some of the weight. Grief is not meant to be carried alone. Here's what you gain when you stop fighting your grief. You gain authenticity. You stop pretending, you become real, and that realness attracts real connection. You realize you are not alone. You gain depth. Grief strips away what does not matter. It shows you who shows up. You stop wasting time on the meaningless. You start investing in what matters. You gain compassion. You understand pain in a way you didn't before. You become softer with others because you know how much it hurts. You gain resilience, not because you stop hurting, but because you learn that you can hurt and still wake up, still breathe, still take a step, still love. You learn that you are stronger than you thought. You have spent enough time fighting your grief. Today, you give yourself permission. Permission to grieve. Permission to take your time. You stop trying to move on. You start learning to carry. Because the person you lost is part of you now, not as a wound that never heals, but as a scar that tells the story of love. Scars are not ugly. Scars are proof that you survived. You are not broken. You are grieving, and grieving is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you loved, and that love, even now, is the most human thing about you. If you are ready to stop fighting your grief and start carrying it, subscribe. Not the pressure to move on, the permission to carry. Thank you for listening. I will see you in the next one.